What is up everybody, Animac here for AnimeUproar, and in this video we will be discussing one of the most requested topics in our comment sections and on social media. And that is, how did some of the students in Class 1A get into that class in the first place? Especially since some students with incredible quirks like Hitoshi Shinso failed to get into Class 1A or 1B and ended up in Class 1C. Joining me for this epic and highly requested discussion is my good friend Nux Taku. Hey Nux.
What's happening, space fanboys?
Since we know that Nux loves being just a disembodied voice, I decided to represent him with this lovely figurine of Saber from the Fate series. You don't mind, right Nux?
Wait, what?
Before we get started, I want to give a quick thank you to Displate.com for sending me this awesome metal poster featuring the winning design from our Create Your Own My Hero Academia character contest. Displate.com has agreed to sponsor these contests, which will be happening on a regular basis on our channel, by sending me and the winner the winning design as a metal poster for free. Congrats again to Gravity Falls for winning the first contest, and I think Kuzomari did an amazing job bringing the idea to life. If you want to enter future contests for a chance to have your idea be brought to life by a professional artist and then sent to you for free as a metal poster, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. And if you want to see other amazing designs that Display.com makes, feel free to check them out, link is in the description, and if you use our promo code you can get 20% off. And without further ado, Nux, are you ready to begin?
Oh yeah, let's do it, Shiro! I mean, Animac, wow, that was weird.
And by the way everybody, Nux loves to call himself Lord Nuxanor, but let's spice this up. And let's start calling him Nuxturia instead. If you want to help me troll Nux, check out his latest video, link is in the description, and type in hashtag Nuxturia in the comments. And without further ado, let's do this.
Wait, no, stop! No!
So we saw how Deku, Ochako, Ida, and Aoyama got in, Bakugo blasted his way through the competition, Todoroki and Momo got in on recommendations, and some members of Class 1A have quirks that can pretty easily lend themselves to crushing the exam. So we have Mina, who could use acid to destroy the robots, Denki can electrocute them, Kirishima can just smash them, and obviously Tokoyami can use Dark Shadow to smash them. We also have our boy Zero, who can use his Spider-Man-esque abilities to get great rescue points or to deactivate the robots, because we actually found out that the robots had switches that could be used to deactivate them for those whose quirks are more stealth and agility based rather than raw power based. We also know that based on Zero's abilities, we can imagine that Tsuyu would have a pretty easy time jumping around the robots and deactivating them with her tongue, and Jiro could use earphone jack to hack the robots and take them out. So I think that all of those kind of make sense. Nux, would you agree?
Yes, I would agree with most, except for Zero. He clearly does a lot of damage, you know, with his flexing and his tape and stuff. Quite the powerhouse there.
So you think that he could have just, you think that Zero could have just used raw power?
Well, no, but the flex tape meme is far too good to have wasted it and not say that he could do a lot of damage.
Fine. I guess everything has to be a meme with Nux. You can never be super serious with Nux. But yeah, I think Zero could just use all the abilities that he has to move around the urban landscape like Spider-Man, right? Like he could move around the buildings, deactivate the robots, rescue people. So I feel like Zero's quirk is definitely really well suited for the urban environment.
Yeah, but if he wore long sleeves, he would be useless.
Correct. Correct. He cannot wear a jacket or any sort of...
It's a very important point.
Yes. Definitely.
Many people do not realize this flaw in his character. He is ever cold in the winter. Poor soul.
Yeah, that's the sacrifice you have to make for being a pro tape hero. It's just the way it goes. So, Nux, you would agree with all the guys I mentioned, that's 14 of them, that it makes sense how they got in. And some of them we know how they got in because we saw it in the anime.
Yep, pretty straightforward.
Okay, so that still leaves 6 students that we're not sure exactly how they passed the entrance exam and got into Class 1A, so let's examine those guys.
I'm down.
First up, let's talk about Mezo Shoji. We know his quirk, Dupli Arms, allows him to duplicate his arms and other parts of his body, right? So, pretty interesting quirk.
Quite the handy quirk,
yes,
I would say.
handy, good, I like it. I like it. But how does...
Although sometimes it's a bit eerie.
I see what you're doing there. But anyway,
Oh!
Anyways, tell me then, Nux, how does this ability, which is unique and interesting, apply to passing the entrance exam, which requires destroying robot villains?
So initially, my consideration was he can gross out the robots, but then I realized that there was a flaw in that strategy, and grossing out robots would not score a lot of points. So, that aside, he is pretty strong. I mean, physically powerful. We have seen him have, you know, quite a few decent feats throughout the show. He can carry like 50 people, no problem.
I think that's actually right, because his power, according to the official guidebook, is 5 out of 5. So 5 out of 5, perfect.
Damn.
On power. So he definitely could have used that raw power to his advantage, smashed the robots with his multiple arms and such.
He's pretty swift, too. He's not that slow. He could have just racked up enough points with small robots and passed.
Yeah, so I think with Mezo Shoji, it does make sense. Okay, moving on to Mashirao Ojiro, the guy with the big tail.
Oh, that guy. Definitely one of the most ingenious characters in the entire series. Don't you love how he sacrificed himself for Deku, and Deku didn't use what he sacrificed himself for? How noble.
But, yes, true, and Deku still won, so the sacrifice was completely meaningless.
Yeah! Who needs friends when then you can have plot that makes believe you have friends?
But yeah, so Ojiro's quirk seems to be just having a tail, like that's all it is. But it is a pretty handy tail, so how do you think, Nux, that he would have aced this entrance exam?
So, funnily enough, I also think he's a brute force hero. I mean, he's trained in martial arts and his karate kung fu thingo, and he's powerful on his own right, at least stronger than your average guy. And his tail looks like a big penis coming out of his ass, which is pretty sick. So with all those reasons in mind, on that note, well, with those reasons in mind, I do believe he could have just darted around, taking out the small ones, kind of like Shoji.
Yeah, so he has a very strong tail. Nux. Tail. And we know that he can use it to like propel himself upward or forward, so he can use it to be more maneuverable and faster. And I'm sure that it has a lot of strength, so you can use it to like smash a robot, deactivate him, whatever. So yeah, definitely that is how he could have passed the test. But here's the real question. What does he do with that tail when he needs to go to sleep?
That's a great question. I was gonna say masturbate, but then I remembered that no, it's actually a tail. You got me.
Maybe he sleeps upside down, hanging by the tail like a monkey.
I was thinking of that.
That would be cool. But yeah, Ojiro definitely a strong guy. So moving on. Next up is Toru Hagakure, the invisible girl. How did she pass the physical exam, the entrance exam where you have to defeat big, massive robots?
Well, if we're relying on the power of memes here, we didn't see her not kill any robots. Right?
Well, we didn't see her at all.
Exactly. That's how good she was at killing robots.
Because she's the invisible girl.
Well, that was the point. That was the joke. We didn't see her not kill robots. Even the teachers couldn't prove she didn't kill robots.
Yeah, I guess you couldn't prove it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they were even monitoring her, like, to see how many points she got, especially if she didn't have anything on. She just, like, took her clothes off. It's like, I don't know what happened. So that's a good point there. I didn't think of that, to be honest. You don't know what she did. How the teachers were there in like a big room monitoring everyone. How could they even see Toru?
That's exactly how she passed. They were thinking to themselves, well, we can't fail the poor girl. I mean, after all, we don't know if she didn't kill all the robots. How many people? Someone had to. Maybe she saved like a village. They had no proofs otherwise. So to avoid a lawsuit, I believe that they passed.
Okay, but to be fair, this is like a fake environment, battle arena. She's not saving real people here. But, okay, to try to be fair here, we did learn from Horikoshi later on, from an interview, I believe, or from one of those question sections in the manga, that the students who don't have battle-based quirks had the option of sneaking up on the robot and hitting a switch that was hidden on the robot and deactivating him that way, and they would get points for that. Did you know that?
No, I did not, but you mentioned it in the intro, and I was like, damn!
Yes, so a lot of people who look at how Toru might have passed say, well, because she's invisible, she can just sneak up on the robots. But this only works if the robots don't have infrared sensors, right? Because if they can
That's
detect,
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
There's no reason why the robots couldn't see her.
yeah, so if they could detect body heat, then they still would have seen Toru, unless their sensors were literally just, you know, cameras, in which case she could have snuck up on them.
There were cameras, but that means people must have been controlling the robots.
Yeah, so it depends. Either the robots had sensors that didn't look at body heat, or people were controlling them and they were just using their own eyes. But I will raise the stakes here, Nux. I think Toru could have used her light refraction technique to fry the robot sensors. So that's the ability where she basically can use the solar flare technique from Dragon Ball that Tien mastered and then Krillin uses. Kind of like blinds them with the light by refracting the light from her body.
Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to be completely honest. She could do that?
Oh yes, so this was just recently in the anime. She can basically kind of reflect the light from her body into like a beam almost that kind of blinds you. Like, so she becomes all of a sudden really bright.
What? Was that in the manga too?
Yes, it was in the manga, and it was recently in the anime during the provisional exam license arc.
Damn, wow, that makes absolutely no sense, but okay.
I mean, it could make sense, honestly, because if her body is just
invisible.
Yeah, but if it's invisible because it's reflecting light in such a way that she looks invisible, but she's actually, you know, still there, then she could technically reflect the light in a different way to make it like, to make it into a sort of solar flare. But if that's the case, then it's kind of like if she can control how her body reflects the light, then how come she can't become visible?
Because that's not how it works, and it just doesn't make sense that she can shoot solar flares?
She doesn't shoot them, she just becomes really, really bright, Nux, and it hurts your eyes.
Okay. I'll give this one to you. Fair enough.
Fine, so technically maybe she fried the robot sensors, maybe she just snuck up on them. We don't know, but it's possible, right? So she could have passed some way. So, okay, let's move on. Next up is our boy. Do you know who I mean, Nux?
I hope you're saving Mineta for last, because he's our real boy.
I'm talking about Minoru Mineta, Nux. AKA...
I said that! That's exactly what I just said.
Minoru Mineta, also known as...
Cringy little bubblefuck!
That is correct. And yeah, so how did Minoru Mineta... This is the question that I get the most, by the way, in the comments and stuff. People are like, how did Mineta get into the best school, the UA, get into class 1A?
So I have several theorems as to how he's actually passed. However, I find it far more plausible that with his masterful peeping ability, he got some dirt on the school and he blackmailed them into letting him pass.
So you think that he might have gotten naked pictures of Midnight and said, I will release these to the world if you don't pass
I don't know, he meant to go for Midnight, but we don't know what he saw in Cementos's room, and we don't want to know.
Yeah, man, that is... that would be an interesting sight to see Cementos in his full nude cement glory. I mean, this is a fair theory.
It would be like an Easter Island head.
Mineta is an evil genius, so he could have done this.
Absolutely.
On a more, I guess, less conspiratorial note, he could have used his balls to make the robots stick to the ground, right? Because some of the robots had wheels, if I remember correctly. So he could have just thrown a bunch of balls at them until they stuck to the ground, and then potentially snuck up on them and deactivated them. Or maybe just the fact that they can't move actually counts as the points anyway, right?
Yep. Well, it's definitely good as far as stalling them and saving people. That's for sure.
Yes. Now, one thing that I'm wondering is...
For me...
You know how his balls bounce off of him, even though they stick to everyone else? If he could master this technique and just, like, bounce from one ball to the other and from one wall to another or something using the balls, he could be, like, better than Spider-Man. He could be, like, moving around like
He
nothing.
could be like Ball Might!
He could be the next All Might. And by the way, someone mentioned that in a previous video on our crazy anime theories. Someone's like, can you please make a video about the fact that Mineta is actually stronger than All Might?
For all.
I think that in the future, it could turn out that Mineta is actually the main character of Boku no Hero and Deku was just red herring the whole time. What do you think?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by in the future. I always assumed.
Okay, well, see, it's already happening. We don't even know it, but it's happening. Moving on. I think Mineta has made his case. Moving on to Rikido Sato, aka our boy Sugar Man, aka
Captain Diabetes!
the Diabetes Hero. This actually is a pretty big mystery to me, to be honest, because, okay, so what does his quirk do? If he consumes 10 grams of sugar, his strength increases 5 times. But this only lasts for a few minutes. And if he keeps consuming sugar to stay strong longer, what happens is he has like a sugar crash, makes sense, and then he becomes sleepy, and he can't think straight. His cognitive abilities just like decline severely. So how can he use this quirk, which is so temporary and has a big drawback, to pass this physical exam?
I think he found 2 big robots standing next to each other, and with his luscious, thick lips, he gave them each a blowjob, lulling them into a false sense of security. Then downed 5 packets of sugar and smashed the 2 of them at the same time, and since they were big-ass robots, it got him to pass the exam.
I don't know what this blowjob you speak of is, but A, they're robots, Nux, and B, this is a family-friendly channel.
Robots need to be lubed, and I apologize.
Alright, so I'll throw another sort of complication into this for you, Nux, because according to the official stats, Rikido Sato's speed is only 1 out of 5, so he is extremely slow. So how can he evade these robots? How can he destroy them in such a short period of time?
Because after giving the blowjob and destroying the first 2 robots, all the other robots feared his presence to such a tremendous degree, they clearly went after different opponents. They did not want to deal with Diabetes Hulk.
Diabetes Hulk is his true hero name, I think. Just like
should have totally
Nina should
been.
be Alien Queen, he should be Diabetes Hulk. I agree with you on that. If we had to have less blowjobs in our answer, I guess the only thing that makes sense in this case is that he found a bunch of robots, he quickly took a bunch of sugar, and just like within 2-3 minutes smashed a bunch of them, and that's how he passed before he had to take more sugar and feel the negative consequences of his quirk. Agreed?
Agreed. Although I would have included the blowjob thing, because I thought it added pizzazz to his story.
Of course you did. Alright, then we have one more person left, and this person,
The hardest of them all!
this person already got an entire video on this channel, so I talked about it a bit, but I want to talk about this with you in particular. That person, of course, is Koji Koda and his quirk and a voice, also known as Bug for All.
Hell yeah! The meme spreads!
It is infectious. So, okay, talking about Koda, we know that his quirk allows him to communicate with and control animals, right? But as I mentioned in that previous video, there are not going to be many animals in a battle arena that is artificially constructed, meaning that no one actually lives there, there are no food sources, you know, garbage, whatever. So you're not going to find necessarily rats there, or raccoons, or animals that could like chew through the wiring. So I think that that option where he just gets a bunch of animals and rats and stuff to destroy the robots won't necessarily work.
This is true. I believe so as well. And I have my theorem, but I believe you should first say what you were thinking and what was in your theory.
Fine. Also, another option is insects, but can insects really hurt a robot? I don't know. Then we also had birds, but for birds to destroy robots, they would have to like basically kamikaze into the robots, killing hundreds of birds in the process, if not thousands. I don't think that our boy Koji would be up for that, and if he would, then I feel like he's definitely some kind of villain. So
Dude, they're birds. I mean, I like birds as much as the next guy, but at the same time, I've watched Hitchcock. Those bastards are dangerous sons of bitches.
Nux, Hitchcock's Birds was not a documentary. I just want to say that.
Birds
are living creatures. You know, you got to respect that, bro. And someone like Koji Koda who loves animals and communicates with them, you would think respects birds. But the other option is that, you know, you said that Mineta might have blackmailed the students. The school, I mean. How about Koji Koda manipulating Nezu, the principal of the school, who happens to be an extremely rare case of an animal with a quirk, in order to just get him in, and therefore the test doesn't matter, he just gets in because the principal has no choice but to do it.
And as you can see from his composure, he's totally up for the challenge.
Hey, Koji Koda seems like such a nice guy, loves his mother, loves animals, loves nature, super shy, and also he manipulated Nezu to get him into Class 1A, and he's actually the UA traitor. That would be pretty nuts.
That would be, absolutely. But you didn't like my Mineta conspiracy theory, so can we try to go around yours?
Okay, sure. I want you to counter-argue my big Koji Koda conspiracy theory.
Well, I'm not gonna counter-argue that one. There's no proofs against it. Kind of like Invisible Girl. You can't prove she didn't kill the robots. But with Koji Koda, it's far simpler than you've even imagined. Because there was one bird in the vicinity in particular that could have absolutely destroyed the robots.
Are you talking about the Chicken of Darkness?
I am talking about the Chicken of Darkness himself. He could have controlled Tokoyami to destroy the robots, and that would be sick.
But I don't think that's true, because Tokoyami, while he looks like a bird, he's not really a bird. Just like Tsuyu, while she looks like a frog, she's not really a frog. So I think that he can only, at least I'm assuming, that he can only control real animals.
I don't know. The dojins between Koji and Tsuyu may disagree.
That's not my area of expertise, Nux. I will leave that to you. But I just think that he would have to control a real animal. But it just so happens that one of the most extreme cases of an animal actually having a quirk, it's extremely rare, happens to be the principal of the whole school. Pretty big coincidence. And then you're thinking, how did Koji get in? I don't know, pretty big coincidence.
I don't know, at this point it's basically the most logical theory how he actually passed. I mean, aside from plot holes, of course, because as we know, there's no plot holes in Hero Academia.
Either that or mass bird murder.
I don't know, he doesn't seem like the genocide type, but maybe.
Well, I think that now we have basically come up with all the most logical and 100% foolproof and definitely not meme answers to everyone and how they got in. We've answered everyone's questions. Everyone will be completely satisfied now, right, Nux?
Yeah! The comments won't have any salt in them whatsoever, I guarantee it. Comment sections never have salt.
Absolutely, everyone's gonna be like, these guys are 100% right. I don't even need to comment. I don't even need to say anything because these guys covered. Of course, that's not gonna happen, guys, but that's okay. Feel free to leave in the comments your feedback. How do you think that some of these guys passed the entrance exam?
Meme answers are definitely accepted.
Memes definitely accepted. And of course, if you wanna give us more feedback for future videos, follow both me and Nux on Twitter, at AnimeUproar for me and at Nux_Taku for you, right, Nux?
Yep, links in the description.
If you enjoyed this type of video where we just kind of talk and have fun and totally not trigger anyone, let us know in the comments, leave a like, all that good stuff. Subscribe to this channel, subscribe to Nux's channel. And until next time, Nux is definitely going to not make a joke about my outro. See ya, Space Cowboys.
And stay weird, fam.